Welcome to day 2 of mindful mobility. We're going to start this practice as we usually do with a nice long grounding breath. So you can take one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, and then close down your eyes. Take a nice long inhale through your nose. Feel the belly expand and then the rib cage, the chest. Take a nice long exhale breath. You can blink those eyes open, hopefully feeling a little bit more centered before you start this practice. One of the most important things about spinal mobility in general is awareness, specifically in your belly. So we will fire up the core before we start to find freedom, and we always want to find that. So it's steadiness, it's stability, and then we add on freedom. If we don't find stability first, and we have too much freedom, that's how we get injury. So we want to find the stability first, and you'll need a little bit of space. So if you need to pause the video and come back, at least the full length of your mat. And we're going to start in a standing position. Oh, hey Otto, how's it going? So you start center of your mat because we're going to need the front and the back. And as you find yourself there, plant into your feet. So plant into the balls of your feet, lift all 10 toes. Give yourself a couple of rocks forward, a couple of rocks back. And then take one hand to the front of your belly, one hand to your back. Now notice here your natural standing position of the pelvis. You might be pushing back or you might be really rounded over. So find somewhere right in the middle. The lower belly starts to become engaged already. We're firing up. Inhale, reach both arms up and overhead. Take your palms together. Exhale, dive down and find a forward fold. Might be your first one today, so take a little moment here, shake out your head, shake out your neck. Now keep your fingertips on the mat and then find your toes on the mat. Lift your heels up. Now slow lower all the way down, bottom to your heels. So we're gonna find somewhat of a toe stand. Sit up tall, take your hands to your heart. Now a challenging balance already. This is the part where the core becomes very important. Engage your lower belly. You can take one knee at a time here, so really feel it out. If you need to find something to hold on to, that's another option. Otherwise, your hands will stay at your heart so that you're challenging your balance. Nice and slow, the knees will find the mat, and it's even hard for me. So find the knees on your mat. Now you're kind of sitting back on the heels. Lift your hips up. Take your hands to your lower back. We'll find a tiny, tiny back bend. I'm talking tiny here. And I want you to imagine it's not a dumping in your low back, rather it's a supported bridge from your center spine, from your thoracic spine. Imagine you have a bar right here in the middle of your back and you're coming up and over. So hands are here on the low back to kind of give you that sensation of the bar. Take your gaze up and over. It's very little back bend. Exhale to let that go. Take your hands back to your heart. Now, without using the hands, unless you truly need to, shift back onto your heels. This is one of the harder parts. We'll start to shift back into that toe stand. So lift your left knee up, and then your right knee up. Oh, we almost fell. And then round it on down. Find your fold, chin to chest. Now we're ragdoll rolling. Soft bend in your knees. Roll it up one vertebra at a time. Let your head, neck, and shoulders stack down your back. We're taking one more round like that. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, dive down and find your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Find your fingertips or hands to your shins. And then it's nice and slow. Lift your heels, find your tippy toes. Slow lower bottom to your heels. You're keeping your knees relatively high, your heels relatively high. You land down. Hands come to your heart. Now the knees sink a little as you sit up tall. We'll take the left knee down, and then the right. The lower belly's engaged here. Press the hips up, press into the hands. Keep your toes tucked, take your hands to your back pockets. Elbows hug inside. Now start to press your way back. We're still keeping engagement in your core the whole way. Exhale to release that. Take your hands to your heart. Lots of engagement here as you shift back. Your hips find your heels. And then you push yourself back. You can take one knee at a time. Or both. Find yourself back in that toe stand. And then round it down. Now stay in your forward fold. We're gonna find the second type of movement pattern here, and you can combine these two once the video ends, something you can play around with, but you'll be in a forward fold. Crawl your fingertips off to the right side of your mat. Now pull your left hip back. Release your head, release your neck, so you're feeling like a rag doll here. Soft bend in your knees. Start to roll it up the right side of your mat. So it's a rag doll roll, but we're coming up the right. Your head and your neck come up last, so kind of let that roll with you back to the center. And then left shoulder drops, we drop down to the left. Coming through center of your forward fold and then back up the right side. Again, now we're in freedom of the spine, but we have that stability, we have the foundation in the core. So keep that engaged here, bring it back to the center, and then we're going up the left. Just taking it opposite direction. Should feel good, not bad. So if you're feeling any pain in your low back, engage your lower belly and just take some ragdoll rolls just up the middle if that's the case. We'll find ourselves in a stand. And you can press into the balls of your feet. We'll find a similar motion to what April taught us yesterday where we're hinging from the hips. So I want you to think about your bottom going back. It's a soft bend in your knees. The lower belly is so engaged. We're coming forward. It's hinging at the hips. So it's not hinging from your low back and it's not hinging from your middle back. It's right at your hip crease. So even I like to take my hands there, my pinkies to the hip crease, and then that helps me to send my bottom back, reach my chest forward. Now I'm staying long. I find myself in somewhat of a halfway lift here. Now look at my neck, and yours is probably the same. So tuck your chin to your chest. So we have one long line from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Now we're holding here, eventually rounding down. The belly finds your thighs. It's a bend in your knees to get you there. You round down into your fold. Tuck your chin to your chest. Last one here, soft bend in those knees. Roll it up one vertebra at a time. Stamp into your feet. Lift all 10 toes. Roll your shoulders back. Take a big breath in, both arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. And if you've got the time, you've got the space, I truly recommend taking those versions. Try them a few times. Turn on some music, whatever you like, and just try to rotate in those movements. Explore around, see what feels right. Otherwise, you'll see April for day 3 tomorrow.